You have a sculpture in Hungary as well. So as well as all your Dublin sculptures and sculptures elsewhere.
That was another competition, another thing. I didn't win it. I became second, but the fellow who won it was an alcoholic, so they couldn't send him out. So that's how that happened. That's the truth. That's how that happened. They knew he was an alcoholic. So that's the blue piece in the garden. That's the model for the blue piece. That's the model. I do things in aeroboard, polystyrene. I carve it. And I went to Tony Cosgrave. I said, Tony, I'm going up with aeroboard. So that's the biggest piece he gave me that I have in the garden. To get the hang of it, I always do small things in aeroboard. So I carved that. So I went out to Hungary. And we went, for a week he drove us around. I don't know what, getting drunk. And that's the truth, getting drunk and eating and meeting. So I said, we're in the Lord Mayor's place, the office. And I said, no, hold on. There's 5 more weeks left in this. I said, I have to start. So he said, so we went and we started to sit down to explain what we were doing. And the Dutchman took out a plan, put it up on the board and all this. Another fellow took out a maquette, beautiful, that's a model. Took out a maquette and it was beautiful, stainless steel and all like this. And I had this thing this size. They had this thing this size, it was in a matchbox. I didn't know what I was going to do out there. I didn't know what they wanted me to do, right? So this girl, Steffi, was my interpreter. I said, Mr. Moran, it's you now. I said, no, that's the Frenchman. And the Frenchman come up and done that. Then he came to me and he said, what are you going to do, Mr. Moran? I took this thing, I'm going to make that. And yeah. She said, it's going in the park. I said, I know, that's all right, but that's too small for a park. I said, no. He said, I'm making, what are you going to make it of airboat? Then he went, airboat, you can't make it out of polystyrene. I said, the kids are set for it. I said, that's the model. And then they looked at me. So I went down the next morning to there was 2 interpreters, 2 fellows who spoke English, engineers. I went down to the stores and they said, what do you want? I want a handsaw. They had got me the lump of airboat, 15 foot lump of airboat. I want a handsaw, I want hacksaws, I want sandpaper and a mask. He said, what? That's what I want. So he put me in this room with my own, thing. And they told me this. Fellas used to come in and look and say, this fella's smart. So anyhow, I done the model and I went and helped the fellas mix the stuff. The foundry man. They put me an honorary badge for being a foundry man. Have at home. And it's over 15 feet tall. 13 ton of steel poured in one go. And he wanted to make it out of whatever steel I wanted. Bronze, any steel this was steel mills. The steel mills had 3,000 people working in it. It made armoury, you couldn't go past. It made armoury and all like that. Any steel I wanted to make it. I said, I'm making ordinary steel, right? And here again, I found out that the kids in Hungary at that time were going to Russia for their service, to their military service. Never knew that. A fellow told me that. So I put a hole in the middle of it, like a Henry Moore. And I found out, where's Russia? They said, Russia's that way. So I put a face in Russia. The communists didn't like this at the time. I put a face in that way, right? And the fellow said, why did you do that? I said, because Russia's over there. And I called the mother. Russia's over there. And why'd you do that? I said, because it takes the whole soul out of the people, out of the mothers when the kids go away. And that's this. And they're standing on the ground. It's like if it's at the falling. There's no plinth. It's as if it's at the falling down. As if it's walking across the road. And it's a huge piece. 13 ton of steel poured in one go. And that model is in the garden. As some would say, the blue lady.